the deeper we go into the awakening process, the more clarity we get, the more we're able to see what's illusory and what is true in ourselves and in others. And this can be a way that we can measure our progress in a way to help us to check that we're still moving forward on the path and haven't got stuck in some area. So as we start to see the trance of separation playing out in others, we start to be able to notice dysfunctional behaviors in others that perhaps we couldn't see before. And also in ourselves, we're getting more clarity on the illusion. And we're also starting to be able to see what truth is and what really is true. You could say our lie detector gets more finely tuned within us, and we can see a true teacher. And we can see when we have awakening experiences and realizations that they are true and that they're pointing towards something that can be trusted. So this is a way that we can measure our progress if we're wanting to see that we're still progressing with awakening. And another way is to see, and we have to be very honest with ourselves. Am I deepening my access into my being, into awareness? Is that growing? Or is there something blocking that? Is there something getting in the way of me continually deepening and deepening within myself? And so things that could block it could be a lot of trauma in the system, a dysregulated nervous system. And that might be something that needs to be healed to some degree before you're able to go as deeply as you need to and be able to relax as much as you need to access presence. But if there's a continual deepening happening and more access to your empty nature, then that's a sign that you're progressing. And along with that deepening that happens, we also have identity dropping away. So when the identity is dropping away, it can be quite challenging. Life can be changing quite quickly even. We can be changing quite quickly, and it can be quite intense. And so this is a very good sign that things are letting go. The false self is unraveling. And so we can see, like, is my life changing? Is identity actually dropping away here? Are attachments dropping away? Is desire dropping away? Is me wanting to be something in the world or create a new identity, is that dropping away? And that can be a good indicator that we are progressing with awakening, and a way to measure it loosely. We also start to put down knowing. I know. It's an egoic tendency. It's a coping strategy that we've used throughout our life to help us to feel safe and in control. And we start to see that we don't know anything. And we particularly don't know about awakening and reality, and that the mind, in fact, can't know that what's outside of itself. And so we start to put down trying to know. And we find ourselves saying, I don't think I know anything. I really don't know. And instead we start to just experiencing who we are directly, instead of trying to understand it, conceptually. And so we put down I know, and we trust in the mystery of it, and we rest in the unknown. And other ways that we can measure our progress is on the level of the heart, to see if our emotional range is expanding. We can often start as having quite a limited emotional range. And this expands as the heart opens and we let go of the barriers that are blocking the heart from opening, which could be beliefs about love or traumas to do with things that happened as a child. And the heart continues to open, and we have more and more access to the full emotional range. So this is a good way to see how we're progressing with the heart awakening part of awakening. And alongside that goes an increase in empathy and compassion that happens naturally. We can be empathetic towards people or groups of people that we couldn't in the past. And we go from that to starting to access oneness, starting to see that they are us. And so we love them because they are us. And so this is a good way to check development when going through an awakening, talking about the heart awakening part. But there are other ways that we can measure our progress. We can look at when we're getting triggered. So a trigger is when we feel even a slight disharmony inside. And our internal world, us speaking to ourselves, we can trigger ourselves, or something externally can trigger us. And we just feel like something's off, or we feel angry or sad. And when we examine it, we find that there's a wound there that wants to be healed. And sometimes it's a belief or an identity that's being pushed up on, and it's ready to be let go of. And the trigger is showing us that. And we can use triggers to check our progress, because if we're not getting triggered in the same way, we can see that we've let go of something. And so this is an excellent way for us to measure how we're progressing with letting go of the identity. And we also start to stop resisting awakening, stop fighting it. We stop fighting others, stop being argumentative, and we stop fighting the awakening process. And there's actually a shift that happens where we surrender completely to awakening. And this can feel very good, very liberating in itself. But we go through a process to get to that, where we start to let go of resistance. And this can help us to see how we're going, how we're progressing with awakening, how much resistance to awakening we still have, how much resistance to life we have, where we're trying to push things away. And so we can use this as a way to measure our progress with awakening.